back to the It's Time podcast.
Not both of us trying to do it differently.
Hello and welcome back.
Podcast.
The It's Time podcast. I'm Mariah, that bitch is Kaylee, and welcome to the show. So, as we do sometimes to our podcast, we're also going live. So, if you're watching us, forgive us if our eyes keep looking in different places.
Wander.
It's kind of confusing. But yeah, let's just get straight into it today.
Get into it, yeah.
You.
Follow the intro. What?
The singing.
Oh. We should make tallies. It's a drinking game. Everybody at home, grab your beverage.
Fun. Yeah. Every time we break into a random vocal moment, we do that a lot. So take a drink or take a hit or drink some water.
A deep breath.
You don't want to do this. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or take a deep breath. That's a good one. Let's start turning drinking games into deep breath games.
We'll be really relaxed at the end of this podcast.
I think I need it myself. Remember when we used to do that?
Oh my God. I couldn't not laugh.
We used to start every episode with a deep breath, and Kaylee would break out into laughter every single time. It was a hard thing to be serious about, and it didn't last long.
I did it.
And then we just stopped doing it.
I loved the intention.
Yeah, it was cute. It was like a nice centering way for us to begin it together.
Y'all just center yourselves and we'll center ourselves, and then everybody will press play.
Yeah, so you can center yourself at home. That's your business. So today we're going to talk about this question that a lot of us ask when you're in adulthood or even about to be in adulthood of like, am I on the right path? Am I doing the right things? Am I behind? Am I making a mistake? That's a pretty consistent part, I think, of adulthood. And at least it has been thus far.
Yeah.
So we're gonna just kind of have a chill little chat about that and what we think about.
Chat.
Chill. It's gonna be chill. God, it's like a drug, really. Like it feels really good because I don't take deep breaths often. I know that's so bad.
I actually really don't either.
I really don't.
You know, I don't like yoga because they tell me when to breathe.
It is confusing. There's an episode of Parks and Rec where she goes, "Leslie, take a deep breath." She's like, and it's the most me thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Oh, better.
I've never related to anything more. I'm okay. I'm fine. Yeah, let's catch up. Well, one, we literally have like 2 weeks until we go to Europe, and I'm fully shitting myself.
I'm absolutely shitting myself.
I've been shitting all day.
I know. Everyone I talked to today, because it was my last day in the building at work. Everyone was like asking me about my trip, and
you guys, we literally leave so soon. It's a constant like stress jolt every hour of the day. It's like, I need to start packing. I need to get that organized. There's still a few things I need to get. Yeah, I don't know. I know that it's gonna literally be like, oh, tomorrow. And then we have Kaylee's birthday. Well, like her birthday's when we're on the trip, but we're having her birthday party like the Sunday before we leave. And it's literally like, we gotta do that and get all those things done. But then like,
I'm gone for 5 days before that happens.
Yeah. So it's all like good things. Like this is such a great
it's all
thing.
Great problems to be having.
Great, like the best problems.
But right now they feel like
I've had in like 2 years probably.
Yeah.
Like not complaining at all. It's just, oh shit. It's kind of like a lot to do, but really, 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 really exciting. And we're definitely gonna make like a proper announcement. Not an announcement, like so serious, but just a little like, hey, we are not like going to be putting out podcasts when we're gone or like really doing it. Like we're not going to have, if you're in the group, we're not going to have a meetup in July. We're just letting ourselves have this time.
For a little moment.
And I also think it gives us this opportunity to kind of take a step back and like take a break and then like come back and really put in a ton of work into the group and the podcast and stuff.
Yeah.
Like we definitely have these plans and these goals that we want to hit. So
well, and they've been such big plans and goals that we just couldn't do them in hand with planning our trip. So when we get back, we get to like really truly hit the ground running and make shit happen, which is
and
exciting.
We'll just be so much in a better place.
Oh my God, we're gonna be rejuvenated.
Yeah, there's just something. It's so hard coming back, but it does like help BU a lot.
Like, gives you a reason to live.
Yeah. Yeah. Then it's like, okay, time to save for the next one.
Literally.
Like, as soon as I get back, it's, when's my next trip? That's going to be my thought. But yeah, I don't really think I had any, like, catch-ups. No.
I got an IUD today.
Oh my God, it already happened?
Yeah.
Why was that not the first thing you said when you walked in?
I don't know, because honestly, I keep forgetting because I'm fine.
You're completely fine?
I'm totally fine right now. I had
Did you take stuff?
Little bit of cramping, like the drive back to work, which was like 40 minutes. And then once I was at work, I felt fine. I took 800 milligrams of ibuprofen.
Is that a lot or?
That's a lot. Like, I was like, is this okay? Because you're supposed to take one pill, like on a normal, whatever. You need ibuprofen, you take one. That's 200 milligrams. I took 4.
Okay.
Ibuprofen.
Okay.
I literally was like, am I reading the directions right?
No, that's just how much pain it can cause your body.
Yeah.
It's like.
And then I had 2 lorazepam, which is like anti-anxiety meds. And then I requested lidocaine, which it was a midwife that did the insertion, but the nurse that came in before, she was like, I got your note, like, really proud of you for, like, advocating for yourself to do that because, like, absolutely this is something that you should have that for. So I had, like, 2 different kinds of lidocaine. One was, like, a gel, and then I think one was a shot.
Yeah. That's how my tattoo removal was lidocaine, and they inject it. So I'm assuming it's similar.
Yeah, because it definitely was, like, a pinch. And honest to God, it was, like, I'm stressed. Some of the worst part was, like, she also did a PAP while she was in there. She was like, well, you're due for one in a year. Do you want to just do it today? And I was like, I mean, you're already up there.
If you're up there, check everything.
Literally.
Don't waste my time.
So she did that. And then whatever came before the insertion actually was, like, the most cramping I had. Maybe it's, like, the measuring part. I don't know. But she was like, grab your phone or whatever, like, or I can play music, like, if you want to distract yourself.
That was not my experience.
The second, she was really cool. That's why I was stoked she was a midwife, because I knew that was going to be her energy of, like, vibe matters. I'm going to walk you through all the things, explain all the questions. Right. So I was pumped on that. Because I just took this appointment with some random person because I wanted to move my appointment up. And the second I felt the first cramp, I, like, put my phone down. I was like, okay, fuck, we're not doing that. And that was the worst part. Then I was just kind of, like, sitting there, you know, they're doing their thing.
You couldn't feel when they were in there?
No, I could feel that they were in there, but I couldn't feel, like, the specifics, just that I, like, had some cramping going on. And when she stopped explaining to me what she was doing step by step, that must have been when she was actually inserting it. And the nurse looked at me and was like, okay, worst part's over. And I was like, no shit.
I'm like getting like flashbacks to my experience.
Because your insertion was horrible, wasn't it?
It was just like no one prepared me for what I thought this was like a pap smear, the feeling of that. Like no one prepared me. And my initial anxiety was I don't really love someone up in there.
Yeah.
It's not the most fun experience. So I was more so like, I'm not really looking forward to this. And the nurse was like...
You weren't thinking about the pain. You were thinking about the act.
No one told me at all. The only person that I had talked to was my mom, and she was like, oh, I never felt anything when I got my IUD. I didn't feel anything at all. I think it's amazing. So I was like, oh, cool, there's no pain.
Oh, shit.
And then I didn't take ibuprofen. No one prepared me, told me to take anything like that. I was in there raw dogging it. I didn't know. And then the nurse was like, how are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm good. You know, I'm fine. And she was like, you're probably just ready for this to be over. And the way she said it made me go like, oh, is this like a worse thing than I'm... And I was like, yeah. The way they were like, okay, like take a deep breath. I'm like, what the fuck?
What's about to happen?
I literally was so
Oh my God, your anxiety must have shot through the roof.
And that's probably like a good part of, in my head, the pain. Except I remember the feeling of like them putting the thingies into the fallopian tubes. Like I could feel them moving in there, like how they put one thing up one side. She goes, okay, that's one side. I'm going to go to the other side. And then they put one up the other tube. Oh my God, why am I shaking?
I'm like a little traumatized for you.
It was like so wild. And then I just remember, I don't know. And then getting it removed was pretty painful, but it was like so exciting when it was out that it was
like, it got you through it.
Yeah, but it
like
was
having a baby.
I think it was worse, I feel like, from what I remember getting it out.
I feel like that's common because they can't. I don't think they can
bring. They kind of pull it. So the feeling, it's like if you don't have a uterus, you just like won't be able to understand this. But it literally, it feels like they pulled out. Like if your uterus was like a thick balloon and they like just yanked it out, and then all of a sudden like the cramp is because it feels, I don't know. That's like how I imagine it in my head. It's just the craziest
because when they put it
thing.
in, it's like an umbrella.
Yeah.
So it's like in that little inserter thing, and then they slide that off and the hooks come out.
Right.
But when they take it out, I don't think there's any way for them to those back in.
I think they just yank it.
Yeah. But yeah, it like wasn't a horrible experience.
Okay, so let's just jump straight into it. Today's topic, am I on the right path? Do you feel like you're on the right path right now?
I do feel like I'm on the right path right now, actually.
And why do you feel that way?
I feel like I'm getting closer to all of the goals that I've set myself over the past several years.
Yeah, I feel that.
So do you feel like you're on the right path?
Yeah, and I think I always feel like I'm on the right path. I guess I am a believer in like what will be will be. Mm-hmm. And so like whatever I'm doing right now, as long as I feel like somewhat centered in what I'm doing, I guess, at least a little bit, even if it's like not going the best or making mistakes or whatever, it's like, well, that's what I'm supposed to be doing right now. Yeah. So that's my path. Like I kind of just feel like we all have our own. And so how could we ever be on the wrong one?
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. Makes me think of, what's that affirmation I used to say every day? Should be able to remember it.
C'est la vie.
Something about like whatever is meant for me will find me.
Que sera, sera. Wait, what is that saying?
I don't chase.
I attract.
Whatever is meant for me.
Yes.
Will find me.
Will find me. Yeah. Man, it's like we big into the manifestation here.
Yeah. And I think you bring up a good point of like the bad or the struggles or like if that's meant for you, it's going to find you too. Like it's
right.
Oh, it's closing a door that should be closed. It's opening a window that should be opened. It's teaching a lesson that you need to learn.
Right.
Us not having friends for a while. Like that was I think really the number one thing that would make me compare myself to others and would make me feel like, well, what have I done wrong?
Right.
You know, along the way. How did I F up my path?
Yeah, why don't I have these certain things? Like, what did I do wrong? It's like that. It's kind of egocentric, honestly.
It is.
Yeah.
But then if you really go back and think about all of the things that happened during that time, they led to this exact situation, which honestly, like, I feel like this is the happiest I've ever been.
Damn.
In my life. And
shit.
And if I like had a ton of friends and was like spending money on going out and shit like that all the time, like I wouldn't have been saving as much money for my house.
Yeah.
Like if I was super busy when you were in LA, not that you can't have more than one friend, but like if I was super busy, maybe we would have had less time to connect. Maybe like the podcast wouldn't have started. The podcast is what brought the group together. Like
it really, you can trace it back to so many things.
You literally can.
And a lot of those things that you trace back aren't necessarily going to be good times. Like we had some of our roughest times in that period. When you're like a teenager and you're going through hard times, adults always tell you like, oh, like it gets better, like blah blah, which it does. I'm not referring to that. Yeah. It's like, okay, no, but let's just have this open conversation that like life is always going to be hard. Like, and you can hit your dream at 22, sure. Or you could hit your dream at like 50. And every single path is different, but none of them go without bad times, hard times, without struggle.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of random, but
no, it's not random.
I do feel like growing up it was always that, and like, okay, I'm 27 and I like the basis of what we're talking about really is comparison, because without it, you wouldn't be like,
You would never.
Yeah. It's like, well, I'm just living. Like, I'm doing what I have to do. And it's like, okay, comparison, social media. You go on there and you're like, wow, who's a really famous influencer? Emma Chamberlain is like 22 and she's a fucking millionaire. So then it's like, wait, fuck, I'm 27. I don't have a fucking dollar to my name.
Yeah.
I don't have a successful business that I built. Like,
you all of the
hey. I mean, it could be at any age, but say someone who's like turning 30 and they're like, well, everyone said when I was 16 that I'd have it figured out by now and blah, blah, blah.
That's the thing, is through media, through other people's lives, through interactions as a child, you are essentially brainwashed into thinking that, like, you are supposed to have accomplished certain things at certain points in your life.
And it's always like in your 20s. Married, kids, buy a house by the time you're 30.
I don't think you're like really supposed to accomplish that much in your 20s. Like,
I think what you're supposed to accomplish is like failing.
Yes.
Over and over and over again as much as you can.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that when you get to your 30s, then you can like really zone into who you are, who you want to be, what kind of life you're building. But your 20s is like literally just for figuring stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been told over and over and over again that, like,
oh my God,
like you said, marriage, babies, big fancy jobs, like all in your 20s. And that's just not the way the world works.
It's really just not realistic at all. A lot of people, especially like high school age right now, the majority of things that they're seeing are influencers that are like overconsumption and all this money and all these things. And like, well, if you ask a kid, don't they say really their dream job isn't like the most common thing influencer now?
It's a very common,
like a lot of kids say like, oh, I want to be an influencer. Well, honestly, fair, because
but that also must be such a hard pill to swallow, because yes, you're also looking at the drastically young people with like insane amounts of money and success. But then you also look at social media as a whole and you're like, this is literally the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
Like, that could just as easily be me.
How do you know if you're making the right decision?
I don't think you do.
Intuition?
Yeah. I mean, when I'm making a decision, I trust my gut. I think if you're following your gut and following your intuition, you're not going to do anything that's like taking you away from whatever this path is that you like want to be on. I think there are decisions you can make that will like steer you further off that track.
Yeah, not that you can't make bad decisions.
Yeah.
Definitely can.
If you know that you're making a decision like backed up by your core beliefs, what's the worst that can happen from that?
Right.
You know, like,
yeah. You learn
something. Yeah.
Do you have anything in your life where you're like, whoa, what if I, not necessarily that you regret?
We talked about one the other day.
Did we?
Yeah. What if my boyfriend and I hadn't broken up? I don't think I would be living in Oregon. We would not have not broken up. Let's make that clear. But
yeah, just in theory. Yeah.
I don't think I'd be living in Oregon. We probably would not have reconnected.
Yeah.
This group definitely wouldn't exist. I wouldn't own a house. Maybe he would and I would live there. But I wouldn't own one.
Whoa.
That like pisses me off, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just like so many things would be different.
Yeah. It's like
I would have never go back into time. Cheer.
Whoa, weird. If you could go back into time, that's why you don't change anything.
Yes.
Because one little thing,
honestly,
effect. You could like
time travel movies freak me out for that reason.
Cause like a catastrophic event just by like one little tiny thing. Mm-hmm. That is crazy. What would you say to someone who's like, they have this thing that haunts them in their past of like, if I just didn't make that one decision and I went the other way, what would you say to them?
I guess I'd say like go through the scenario and like really think about every single detail. You might find that some things changed for the positive, but you also might find that some of the things that you are grateful for in your life right now
are because of that.
Yeah,
because it affects so much. So I guess this is a concept that we're discussing, a highly discussed concept.
Yeah. Do you have any moments like that in your life that you go back and think about? What if I had done this instead?
Yeah, but nothing that more so just random thoughts. Nothing that's like haunting me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm such a big believer in what we're talking about, like whatever will be. I don't look back on anything with any regrets.
Yeah.
Like I don't regret anything at all. But I think there is that like, oh, if I just didn't drunkenly kiss that one, you know. But it doesn't haunt me.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like,
well, and I do think there are some
that
things
was a little
that if you went back and you changed him, like, probably wouldn't change the whole timeline all that much.
No. So nothing that's like crazy. I mean, there are like horrible things that have happened to me that like, sure, I block them out, so sometimes I forget. But it's like, well, obviously I wish that didn't happen. But like, it's also like I won't waste my time in the present stressing out over something that happened in the past. Like it almost pisses me off. Like if it's trauma, then yes, like you have to work through it and like you kind of have to discuss the past. It sucks. But like when we're discussing things like, I don't know, I've kind of like done some of the healing work with some of my trauma in a way, or like at least made somewhat of peace with it. So like why would I waste my time right now stressing out over it, especially if it was something not like trauma and something that's like, have I had a few embarrassing moments in my day? And do they sometimes pop in my head and like make me cringe? Yeah.
I hate that.
And I physically have to shake it
off. Actually physically.
Get the fuck out of my head.
I have to close my eyes.
But then I think we all do this, right? Like we're like, oh, let's just push it back. Let's keep moving on. Like stuff like that. It's not worth spending time stressing out over.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a range of decisions and consequences or bad things that happen to you, but I think we're really talking about what you cause or like a decision you make. It's like some of the things that had happened to me, I had no. Well, actually, this is not true. I have thought about what if I just, because like, oh, I just poked myself in the eye.
Really aggressively.
Like, what the fuck? So, one of my like big T trauma in my life, I can like remember what led up to it. So I have had these moments of like, oh, if I didn't talk to that person or like walk over here to get a drink here, like something that small that might not have happened.
Yeah.
It probably would have happened to me at some point because statistically it would have. But like that has crossed my mind. But I guess I just don't sit on things. I think I just am too much of a dissociator. Is that a word? Is it? Well,
I don't know if it's technically a word,
but it makes sense.
It made sense.
I'm so much of a dissociator that I'm probably not like the right person to be talking about people who regret because I literally just, if I don't like the way it makes me feel, I will turn it off. It's like in Vampire Diaries. I'm like, nope, don't want to feel it. Turning off my humanity. That's too much emotion. Bye. I'm not going to deal with that right now, which is not healthy. I mean, I think some therapists will tell you there are actual times when like your body will do that because it has to.
Yeah.
It's like your body's way of like surviving.
No, yeah, there's a reason that your body knows to do that.
When you like, that's why therapy is so important because then, okay, let's turn off that and actually deal with the feeling. And then sometimes it's okay, but it can't. What the issue for me is that it's literally constant because I have PTSD and so it's easier to just dissociate and like not deal with those things. So if you're dealing with stress over a past decision, I don't know, because I guess I haven't dealt with it well myself. I'm like, oh, this is all you have to do, just like forget about it.
Just push it back.
Just push it back, and then
Anybody seen Inside Out 2 yet? That one's in there.
Had like the largest box office for an animated film ever.
The second one did? Oh wow.
Yeah. Like
I really liked it. And I liked when they came out in my life because when the first one came out, it was all about like not growing up, but letting go of kind of like childhood.
Oh.
And I was going to college. I remember crying in the movie theater. And then this one.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah. But then this one was all about more like, has that been there for a week?
Yeah. I forgot my lip gloss. Cool.
This one was all about like more adult feelings and like anxiety and embarrassment.
How was AO?
Oh my god, AO was so good.
Love her.
I loved it. But yeah, Joy built this little machine where she can take the memories and she can just like pinball them up all the way way to the back of the brain. And, like, that's what the whole movie was about, was basically, like, wait, all of those things actually are important. And, like, they all make Riley who she is.
Oh, that's the message of this episode.
Wow. Not even planned.
That is crazy. And you saw it yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Was there a lot of families in the theater for Father's Day?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
There was 2 little kids behind me. Every time a new preview played, they'd be like, not again.
They were so excited.
They wanted the movie so bad. Aww. Isn't Inside Out 2 yet?
Oh my God, I love that. So let's end with, like, social media.
Oof.
How do you deal with literally opening up Instagram? And here's the thing. Like, let me just preface this with, like, we all need to... It's not a competition. Like, because someone achieves something, it doesn't mean you're losing out on something, you know? I just feel like that's kind of, like, the basis of how a lot of people go on social media. So when you go on and someone's like, just did this, maybe something that you'd want to do, or maybe even not something that you've ever even thought of, but you're like, oh, I want to achieve that, or I want to do that. Or how did you, like, those intrusive, they're kind of like intrusive thoughts, really. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that way when you go on social?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Especially about couples.
Yeah, the couple thing is hard. It's also, for me, it's also like influencer lifestyle. I'm sometimes like, God, because of what you said in the beginning of, like, it feels like, man, if I had started YouTube at 14, like, that probably would have been me, you know?
Yeah.
Like, would have been rich by now, probably would have had a house, like, all these things. Tomorrow I'm going to wake up and be on a yacht.
Yeah, no, the comparison thing is hard. I will say I love the way people are using Instagram nowadays, ever since they got rid of the like count.
I love it.
Yeah, and it's brought it more back to, like, OG Instagram, I feel like, of, like, this is just like some little thing that brought me joy in my day, and I'm just going to post it. And I don't give a fuck if any of you liked it, because I can't see the number anyway. Yeah. Like,
oh, it's the best.
It's just here because I want it here. But, so I live for a little dumpy situation, because
I love a dump.
Dumps also very, very rarely put me in that comparative space. Like, I'm usually just like, oh, like, wow, look at these cute little moments of your life.
Yeah. Cool.
It's the stuff that understandably people want to put out there because it feels important and like a big deal to them, and they want people to know. That's the stuff that, like, causes that comparison. Yeah. Graduations, engagements, babies, relationships.
Hitting, like, life milestones.
Yes. The milestones.
It's the milestones. So what social do you feel like triggers this feeling the most?
I'm going to say Instagram, because TikTok, I can, like, train it away from that, you know?
That's so true. It's so funny
because
how
TikTok
you can
be that way.
To do whatever you want.
But I can just be like, no.
Yeah, shut up. I have a hard time skipping past videos if it's, like, a big thing, like someone announcing something, or, like, even an engagement. Like, there's almost just, like, like, curiosity of it or something, you know? Well, okay, here's a perspective, because I thought this way. I just watched an engagement video, and I was like, I felt, like, not sadness over, like, I want that to be me. I felt, like, that comparison over, like, God, sometimes I wish, because I've always been different, and my path's been different than, like, I sound like I'm like, I'm different than the other girls. No, I'm not trying to say that. There's a lot of people like this. Some of us, a lot of us, didn't grow up wanting those things. You know, it's just, like, whatever. So it wasn't over that. It was like, that's crazy that I'll never experience that, because I don't want to. And maybe it's because I'm an empath or something, because I'm like, I feel that person's reaction and how excited, like, wow, I don't know what that feels like to want something like that badly. And is that, I don't know, like, it's a random perspective? It's not like you're missing out
on it. It's just like
it's a different way of, like, comparison and envy, in a sense of, like, wow, I wish I was kind of normal, and, like, I wish I wanted something like that, but I really don't, you know? For me, I feel the most comparison and that kind of thing on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn every day. It's part of my job. So, oh my God, these things that people are doing in like business, like these women that are starting businesses and like self-starters, like holy shit. I'm not doing that much.
Yeah.
But I am. I need to like give myself more credit. We all need to give ourselves more credit. Like the thing that was hard for you that day, it could be like this meeting for a CEO position at this crazy company. It could be getting out of bed. You still like, you did that, you know?
Yeah.
Like give yourself credit for where you are. And I don't know. We get so caught up in like, what if we had that I think like earlier when you were saying this is the happiest you've been, I was thinking like, oh, I haven't done a self-reflection of like, how do I feel about me right now, where I'm at, how happy am I? I think a lot of the time I get so caught up in the like, I haven't gotten to this point yet. So I can't be happy yet with where I'm at because like to me, my perfect life looks like this. I don't have that. So I can't be like content or happy where I'm at because I just haven't hit those goals.
Yeah. I feel that because I'm such I like wish life away. Like, oh, life will be better when I get to this. When you know, like, oh, I can't wait until like we're in Europe 2 weeks from now. So, what I'm saying is, who cares about the next 2 weeks of life? I just want it to be then, you know?
Yeah.
Why did I just bring that up?
I don't know, but you're making a good point. Wishing life away. Not appreciating.
I think that can make it hard to like fully be present and
be present. Allowing yourself to actually be happy though.
Yes.
And like simple.
Exactly.
Even though haven't hit that goal. Like when you're in the trenches, you should be even more gentle with yourself anyway.
Exactly.
I think that we've talked about this all the time, so we kind of loop in our conversations, but like romanticizing your life is so helpful for that because I think we all do it every day of like, I just got to get through work. And I'm like,
yes, wishing life away.
Like or like maybe you're someone who only looks forward to the weekends. Like maybe start slow. Okay. Every night after work, you have this like thing that you do that maybe you look forward to it. So you're not just like every Monday wanting it to be Friday. Because then a year passes by and you're like, whoa, I've been like, you're basically disassociating.
5 out of 7 days a week.
Yeah.
That's why our happy hours have been really helpful.
They have.
For me in that way.
Like middle of the week things.
Oh, I have a real life human person thing to do right now.
Yeah. Should we wrap up?
Yeah. I feel like this was a good chat.
I know. I'm like, we talked for the 50 minutes. I guess some of the beginning was the live, but any other little
anecdotes? No, I think just like trying to be as present in your current life.
It really comes back to mindfulness.
Yeah. Wake up every morning, write 3 things you're grateful for, like whatever it is, so that you can not push the joy away, but like actually embrace it.
Yeah.
Even if life feels like shit right now.
Right. Big purrs. So nice. That's very nice. Thank you. Let's end right there on the purse.
On the kitty purse.
On the purse. But yeah, if you ever want to chat to either of us, we used to say this all the time.
Oh yeah, we did.
But like, if you ever want to chat, we're very responsive. Like, we're available.
We are available.
So if you want to any of the topics that we discuss, or if we've, I don't know, maybe sparked something in you, or if you have advice for us.
Yeah. If you just want to continue the conversation in any way.
So you can always DM us. Everything's linked wherever you are. There's all the links. So thank you for watching or listening to the It's Time podcast. I'm Mariah. That is Kaylee. We have new episodes every Wednesday, and we'll see you next time.
Except for 2 weeks from now when we're in Europe.